Good evening. How is everyone doing tonight? Woo! Here we go. We've got a woo. My name is David Lawrence. I'm a librarian here at the branch. Thank you all for coming out on this very rainy day. We are very excited to be hosting Catherine and Julia. It's going to be a really good talk. Big thanks to Books Are Magic for helping put this together. Just want to give folks a heads up. We got a lot of good events coming down the pike here at Brooklyn Heights. First Packer's going to be here next month. Always lots of good stuff coming. So grab a calendar on your way out. Get on our newsletter. And I'm not going to waste any more of your time. I'm going to hand it off to Amali from Books Are Magic.
Hello, everyone. Thank you all so much for braving today's crazy, crazy weather and joining us in this very dry, very warm, very nice library. My name is Amali, and I'm the events director at Books Are Magic, which, if you don't know, is a lovely little independent bookstore just a few blocks away from here. So I want to kick off tonight's event first with a huge thank you to the Brooklyn Public Library for co-hosting. As David said, they've got a fantastic schedule of programming for all ages, so please check that out and come back soon. We are so excited to be here tonight with Catherine Newman and Julia Phillips, celebrating the launch of Catherine's newest novel, Wreck. In Wreck, we return to the story of Rocky and her family, who we first met in the novel Sandwich. And in this follow-up, Rocky is a wreck. Between a mysterious health scare and a local train crash, our protagonist's mental and physical well-being is in a bit of a precarious state. And tonight we will dive into all of that and more. Before we get officially started, though, I just have a few housekeeping notes to go over. First, if you need to use the restroom at any point, it's located just down the hall to the left of those double doors that you came in through. We will be doing a hand-raised audience Q&A towards the end of the discussion, during which I'll be passing around a wireless mic to everyone. So please start thinking of questions to ask and hold on to them. And finally, after the talk tonight, Catherine will be around to personalize your books. All of her books, Wreck, Sandwich, and We All Want Impossible Things, have all been pre-signed, so you will be going home with a signed copy no matter what. And if you're joining us virtually on the live stream, you can buy a copy of her books online using the link in the live stream description. Okay, now I can introduce tonight's wonderful, wonderful guests. Catherine Newman is the New York Times bestselling author of the memoirs Catastrophic Happiness and Waiting for Birdie, the middle grade novel One Mixed Up Night, the kids' craft book Stitch Camp, and the best-selling how-to books for kids, How to Be a Person and What Can I Say, and the novels We All Want Impossible Things, Sandwich, and Wreck. She writes Crone Sandwich on Substack and lives in Amherst, Massachusetts. As I mentioned earlier, Julia Phillips joins Catherine in conversation tonight. Julia is the author of the best-selling novels Bear and Disappearing Earth, which was a finalist for the National Book Award. A 2024 Guggenheim Fellow, she lives with her family in Brooklyn. That's all for me. Please join me in giving a huge welcome to Catherine and Julia.
People here, all of you are special to me, and my husband and kids are here with our friend Ilya, and my entire HarperCollins team is here. My library team is here. It is and so many friends, and thank you. Hi, I'm just going to make eye contact with all of you. Greet you individually, and then we'll get started. So sorry. Also, as you may or may not know, I was on Good Morning America on Tuesday. I will never wash my hair again because they made it look so good, and I think I lost the thread a little about how hair works. Right? Like, they did such a good job. I'm just going to keep it like this. So luckily, I'm seeing you at the beginning of the tour. So in a week, it's probably not going to be as good. And there's still like makeup flaking off of my face. It is so epic. I've never had an experience like that. And I was like, you guys, you're gonna make me look like I'm about to do a drag show. And they were like, no, we're not. And they did. Okay. I'm in love with this person, and we're like, I'm a little also overstimulated because we haven't seen each other in a year, and something happened to her in the interim. I don't know who is responsible. It wasn't me. All right, I'm going to read a little from Red. I'm going to read some just like little snippets. Like the story is, you heard a little bit about what it's about. So I'm not really reading stuff that'll give you any sense of the plot. I don't know why I refuse to be at all helpful. I'm just reading really quirky things. My kids had an unusually, our kids live in New York. And my parents live in New York. We live in Western Massachusetts, so we have left the kids to it, if you know what I mean. And they had a tough time with my parents last night, and so I'm reading I'm just going to read some things for them. Okay. Willa is Rocky's daughter, who is, I think, 22 in this book. And Willa's grandfather, who's Rocky's dad, lives with them. I'm going to scramble myself an egg, my dad says, in 5 minutes. You want a scrambled egg, Willa says? I got you, Grandpa. Really, my dad says? That would be lovely. I pour half a bottle of Pinot Noir into the pot, and it sputters and boils while I scrape at the bottom with a wooden spoon. Willa stands beside me to heat the egg pan. And Sunny, this is Willa's friend Sunny, sits next to my dad on the couch to sort the leaves by color. My dad emits a sudden grunt of disapproval. What? I say. Jamie, he says, this is Rocky's son. I texted him to see if he wanted that beautiful dinner table of ours, and he said he didn't. Jamie and Maya live in a New York City one-bedroom apartment the size of our one-car garage. The only place you would maybe be able to put a dining table is the kitchen, but you can't because there's a bathtub. My parents' dining table is an enormous carved walnut affair with 12 chairs. It would not look out of place in a castle or a haunted boarding school. I can't believe he doesn't like it, my dad is saying. That table has universal appeal. Willa, scrambling my dad's egg next to me, laughs. Mom, she says quietly, don't get into it with him. Dad, I say. Dad, I am getting into it. First of all, did he actually say he didn't like it? I find that hard to imagine. Jamie is a puppy, all friendliness and agreeable curiosity. And second, nothing has universal appeal. That's not the thing. People have different tastes around the world, across history, for a million different reasons. Their apartment is furnished from IKEA. It's hard to picture your table there. I wasn't meaning to set you off, Rachel, my dad says coolly. Sounds like you're not a big fan of the table. No, ugh. I'm scraping the vegetables back into the pot, pushing my hair off my face with the back of my hand. Dad, I have a ton of affection for that table. I just feel defensive for Jamie. Well, he was a little harsh is all, he says grumpily and shrugs. Willa is buttering my dad's toast and she laughs. Grandpa, what did Jamie write? What exactly? I add a sprig of thyme and a bay leaf to the pot, put the lid on and pop it in the oven. Come dinner time, the meat will fall to pieces if you so much as look at it, and it will taste of wine and salt and long heat. The potatoes will be smooth and buttery, the tofu braised and savory and kind to animals. I'll toss together a crisp green salad, dress it sharply, and we will sit at the table together and know the meaning of life. A sheepish look passes over my dad's face before he reads Jamie's text out loud. What a lovely offer, Grandpa. Our son has written, Maya and I really wish we had room for that table. We have such fond memories of eating all all of Grandma's wonderful meals. Thank you so much for thinking of us. We look forward to seeing you later in the month. Willa laughs, says, wow, that was hard. She hands my dad a plate of eggs and toast, a fork, a napkin. He thanks her. I hear that it doesn't sound so bad, he admits. And I say because I know how it feels to hurt your own feelings. Sometimes things just feel bad anyway. I really did pick randomly, but this is yet another random passage. Everyone okay? Hang on, I'm putting my glasses on. Vibes monitoring. Okay. You guys are good? A little more. I'll read a little more. I'm not going to go on and on. All right. Nick, this is Rocky's husband. Nick wakes halfway up to see what I'm looking at on my phone in the dark. It's a sculpture. Miles Zapp is a local kid who has died in an accident, and we're obsessed with this story. It's a kid her kids went to school with. It's a sculpture that Miles Zapp's mother has posted to Facebook. A clay figure with an expression of grief so pure it's nearly ecstatic, head tipped back, mouth stretched open, arms cradling a kind of infinite emptiness. The caption reads, "Mother." I'm scrolling through the comments to see if she made it herself. I think she did. Maybe don't quit your day job for sculpting, am I right? And then a second later he says, oh shit, are you crying? I'm sorry, I don't even have my glasses on. I don't know what you're looking at. He wraps an arm around my waist, dislodging Chicken the cat, who stretches and sighs, and they both resume snoring. An email dings in, and it's an Amazon order. The kids still use our account because of the free shipping, and I always look to see what they're getting. This is going to Jamie in New York, and it's a fire extinguisher. I screenshot it, text it to Jamie, write, I'm guessing there's a story here. You don't want to know, he writes back with a cry laughing emoji. Can't sleep, I write? Because of the fire, he writes. I laugh out loud, write, LOL. You want this, I write? And I text him a screenshot from the Buy Nothing group where someone has offered up a single large slice of Hubbard squash for gifting. That really would make a great gift, Jamie writes. I'll grab it for you, I write, and Jamie writes, thank you, the only thing better than a whole Hubbard squash. Part of it. You want, he texts with a screenshot from the New York City Buy Nothing group where a used bottle of molasses is on offer. It's very, very sweet, the gifter has warned. Someone has written irritably, yes, because it's molasses. Or this, Jamie writes, this photo appears to be one of actual garbage. Crumpled paper and foil plastic wrappers and packing peanuts, something that looks like coffee grounds. Recycle it into your art and keep it out of the landfill, is the accompanying admonishment. And 10 people have written, interested. I miss you so much it feels like all my ribs are bruised. I write and delete. And then, since nobody's here to accuse me of being a needy, emotional pest, I write, hey honey, did you hear about Miles Zapp? 3 dots appear, then nothing, then 3 dots. Sorry, I write, I'm sure you did, no need to respond. No, he writes, the 3 dots again, then yeah, I did. It's so sad, I write, like a dumbass, and he writes, yeah.
I guess I have to start by saying the most important response to that, which is your hair does look really good.
What? It's no big deal. It happened so quickly.
I also think you really, you talked about New York City tiny apartments, you talked about Buy Nothing groups. I don't think you could have sold this book more effectively to this group of people. I think that was amazing. That was incredible. Well, it is such an honor to get to be here with you, hot off the heels of your TV appearance, right as you're kicking off your tour. Can we just give Catherine another I'm so excited to get to talk with you about this book, and the sections you read have everything in them I want to ask you about, but first I should be a normal person and say, how are you? How are you in this whirlwind week? This is not your first publication rodeo, but it's been a lot.
Yeah.
How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm really, really, really happy. My goal, you can imagine, right? Like, I live in Western Massachusetts. Somebody writes and is like, okay, you're gonna be on GMA, and you gaze at your collection of Birkenstocks, and you're like,
I actually I noted and loved your shoe choice. I thought your shoes were
was
very...
it perhaps this shoe? I know.
loved it.
Yeah, except it turned out that's not the kind of shoes they wear on GMA. I learned when I was glumping onto the couch like a yeti, and everyone has very small shoes. Like, I don't know if their feet are small.
I don't know if anyone else watched this clip. I watched it. I hope you all watched this clip. I don't remember any
Anyway,
yeti
in the event, I'm glad I wore the boots, but I as I was walking to the couch to like glump into somebody's lap half, they put me in the crack, which was so awkward. And right away I was like, I have worn the wrong shoes. But it was okay. And they were so nice to me. That's the main thing. Everyone was so gracious. And I was so, my Lindsay, my publicist, was there. And she was so comforting because I was like unraveling a little. Not actually unraveling, but I was very nervous.
I think being on live morning TV is probably like the hardest thing.
It wasn't actually live, which was a huge relief to me
okay.
because I always worry that I'm going to have that Voices Carrie thing where she stands up in the opera and starts screaming. Maybe you didn't have MTV in the 1980s, but maybe you did. And I feel like I have such a rogue like sense of distrust of myself that I would just do something crazy because there's nothing. It's live. Like, oh my God, you know.
But this was pre-recorded morning TV.
Luckily, I behaved quite normally on
Yes.
account of the pre-recorded.
If it weren't for that tape delay. Who knows?
Or like I would need a joke or
I do feel like this was one of the hardest things you could possibly do. Is everything after this like easy peasy?
Yes, because now it's you guys that we're here and it's like totally awesome and normal and all my people are here and I feel great.
I hope I speak for everyone to say if you stand up and scream suddenly, we would love it. I know Molly said this to you all before, but we're going to talk for until about 6:45ish, and then you guys will have opportunities to ask questions. I hope you have lots and lots of questions. I know many of you know Kathy personally, so you can ask her about like personal betrayals or things that she did to you before, and I think the rest of us would love to hear it. Is that fair to say? Is that a good expectation to set up?
That's great. Okay, great. Looking forward to that.
Okay, so I have to ask you, well, first off, I have to ask you, how the heck did you write this book? What was the journey it took from idea to being a thing that we're going to buy 700 copies of tonight? Because your last book came out 2.5 seconds ago. So what have you done, and how dare you, and also how are you so impressive, and can you teach us your way? What did you do? I'm shocked and amazed. I loved this book. I hope everyone's read it already instantly. 2 days.
You know how it is. Like they did. I think it's safe to say. Correct me if I'm wrong. Like I feel like we kind of rushed it to catch the tail end of the sandwich moment. So it came out a little soon. Like typically, I think it would have come out 6 months from now.
Okay.
So it is. We're coasting on the vibe.
It's a good vibe. We're all coasting on the vibe. We're all hoping to coast on the sandwich vibe.
I was taking sort of simultaneous notes about 2 different book ideas, and so when I sat down to write Rec, I already had a lot of notes.
When did you sit down to write Rec? I mean, when did that? Your last book came out last June? Is this embarrassing to ask? Should I move on to a date?
Like, when exactly did you sit down to write? Because it just seems a little weird. It seems a little suspicious. I was writing Rec before Sandwich came out, and then was finishing. And then there was a book tour, which is not an ideal writing time, as probably a lot of you know. And then I was finishing it later.
This is, I like the kind of like gentle nudging around dates. You were like, it was earlier, it was after. It was all things.
When exactly?
No, I think it's incredible. And what did it feel like to dive back into Rocky's voice and into this, like a follow-up novel? I think is a huge thing. And especially, if I may say, after such enormous success with the first, there's a lot of pressure. But you slip right back into this like moving, brilliant, hilarious. I'm sure you hear people say all the time, it's so relatable, it's so relatable. But I feel like anyone at any moment of their life reads your books and feels like, oh my gosh, she's talking exactly to me. Like, she's my best friend and she's talking to me. And to pull that off is extraordinary, I think. I have to imagine you were under professional pressure. As you said, you were on book tour, things were happening. You're picking out shoes to go on television. You know, it's a big, like, how did it feel to get back in Rocky's head?
You're the most. I like that that's like a question.
How are you so good?
How am I so good? Man, what a question.
We want to know the answer.
You know, this wasn't, I just, it's funny because both my agent and my editor are here, so I'm like, what did I tell them? Keep your story straight before you say something super weird. But I was not intending to write the same family again, but because I know that family really well, if you know what I mean, it was easiest for me to write this story with that family, and I thought I'll use it as like I'm gonna use this as like a holding place, and then later, like I'll get the plot and the story out, and then later I'll change it to like a different.
You'll do like a find and replace for Rocky. Change your name.
Jockey. I know.
Every R becomes a J in the book.
That just seems so pointless and stupid, and so then I hoped that it would be fine, and then I realized how weird and secretive I am because I sent it to both my agent and my editor, and they were like, "Oh, you've written a book with this new character." And I was like, "Oh, I forgot to mention."
I don't want to speak for your agent and editor, but they must have been excited about it, I would think.
Were they?
Question 2. Silence from the audience.
I think it's just introduces a different set of things. Like there are good things about it, probably not great things about it. Like, does it work as a standalone book? Like there are probably considerations that I didn't know that much about.
I think it does work as a standalone book very well.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. You're welcome. Do you imagine going? So it didn't seem like it felt like an exit and then a re-entry. It seems like it kind of felt like a smooth transition into this storytelling.
Yeah.
Do you see yourself returning to this family and Rocky again? Get her out of my head. I gotta exercise her. What do you?
I mean, no, Rocky's a little hard for me to get away from. And also, there's just content coming at me 24/7. My dad, who alleged to be like annoyed to be quoted in Sandwich, then loved to have been quoted in Rack. Like I just quote stuff he says because he's so funny and he's so quotable. And then a few weeks ago he texted me this very long story about how he'd been digging through a container of Zabar's creamed herring. Because if you've ever gotten it, the herring's at the bottom, but the top is all raw onions. And you can't, if you're my dad, you can't see the herring really. And so he'd been digging through it.
Gotta go by feel.
Yeah, he'd been digging through it with a fork. And anyway, much to his delight, there was a piece lurking under the onions. Texted me about this. It was like in many parts. It was a very long text. And then he wrote and said, feel free to use that. And here it is. Like, come on, how good is that? And the funny thing is that my nephews, both of my brother's older kids, have actually taken photos of my dad bent over digging through the onions with a fork. So, like, that could be like, you know, a photo illustration.
Yeah, totally. Like it'll be a picture book novel. What One of those Insula 32 pages of color photos of your dad.
Just digging through. But
I would love that. Well, that actually reminds me of one of the three things I wanted to ask you about. I came here with three main questions, which is I, as your avid fan and obsessed reader, feel like I turn to your books for three things, which are humor, food, and like familial love. And I want to ask you about all three.
okay.
Maybe I'll ask you first, in light of Pickle Herring, about food. How do you write food? Does anyone else here subscribe to Catherine's newsletter? Oh, yes. I hope we're all similarly obsessed with Catherine's newsletter, which is the best, which is mouth-watering. I feel like always has incredible recipes in it, and really good body texture stuff too. I'm always recommending it to people. I'm like, if you ever want to hear like fantastic and luscious description, like vagina wetness or subscribe to the sandwich. I'm sorry. Just when your kids are here.
They're shocked, I'm sure. Sorry, guys. I'm not used to that kind of
You
thing.
use food analogies in that, which I think is why it came up for me. If I may quote, a particularly memorable newsletter turns like a raisin into a luscious plum. I think is part of it.
I think there was an ad I got. Like, I still get that ad. You'll all get it now because we're talking about it. Phone will be like, it's that thing that's called like Dream Creamy Peach. You've probably already gotten that ad, but you'll get it now.
Well, we could steer toward like food, not as metaphor for other things, but food as food.
Yeah.
How do you write food?
So I've done it as you know, and I have also at least one beloved magazine editor here, Anna, I see you. So I've written a lot for magazines. I have written a lot of food content. It comes very naturally to me. Like I made a living for a while writing a recipe column that ran weekly on the Disney Family website. I'm saying that, I'm not sure that's right. So it's like a little break for me writing, you know, where stuff's emotional and intense, and then there's just like a little break that's like an interlude of cooking. It's grounding and reassuring. I love to eat. I wake up and think about food, and I'm like a very food-centered person. And it's Rocky, as it is for me. It's like Rocky's idiom of caretaking is feeding everybody, and I think there's something. I also just secretly, like, I always think if someone's hating the book, every few pages there'll be something about food, and they'll be like, okay, that person. Just, okay, you gotta eat. Like, that's better. But I think there's something about, and I know I'm talking to you, like, and you're in the little kid moment still, and like that feeling of just making dinner like every minute of the day for decades. It's such a profound part of parenthood, like the providing of food, and it is incredibly joyful, but also just like shockingly stressful. And now I have to tell the story.
You have to tell the story.
I was on an airplane watching this David Attenborough animal parenthood special. Has anyone watched it? Oh my God. So it's David Attenborough, the British naturalist guy. And so it starts, and it is immediately so relatable and stressful. And what it's about is like every shot is the birds are like, ah! The parents are like, oh! Every thing. It's like putting food into the mouths of these like desperate offspring. And so I'm watching on the plane. It's immediately clear to me that I should not be watching this. Like, it's so stressful and sad and worrying. And then there's this scene where there's a crab. Can you still hear me without the mic? There's a crab, a mother crab. All her crablets, she protects them. They're all on her belly. She is in a panic to feed them, but also predators are trying to get her. So this is what she does. She has a sea anemone in each claw, like pom-poms. And any predator that comes near her, she bats it with the pom-poms. Like she's just like this all the time. I am watching this sobbing. I was just like, oh my God, I feel like that still. Where I'm just like the vigilance. Like if we were underwater, I would have a sea anemone in each of my little crab claws, and then she uses them. It's not symbiotic because they get nothing out of this. They're like, put me down. I have a life to live. But no, she never does. She sweeps them through the sea, and all the food they catch, she feeds to the crablets. Tell me that's not your life. Anyway, I cried so much that the person next to me turned like a tiny bit away from me to give me privacy, or so I wouldn't talk to her about it. I was like, are you?
Are you seeing these crablets? That's like not only a very important way to go through life and to recognize we go through life, but also an important way to be on a plane, I think, is just sobbing at your tiny screen.
She's so tired. And like, if you were watching, I mean, you also know how it is, like if you were watching the David Attenborough part about the anemones, you'd be like, those poor anemones. But like, because it was like the POV was the crowd, they didn't hear much about them.
I think that is actually a natural lead into either humor or love. So I want to ask you about which one you want to answer first. Because, well, tell me about writing humor. And you are funny. I don't know if you know this. You're a very funny person. I think the cat's out of the bag in terms of everyone that knows you or has ever met you.
I'm going to interrupt you, sorry, for 1 minute. So Julie and I, the way we know each other is we were at the Harbor Springs Literary Festival together, which to this day, Mike was there too. It was like maybe the best weekend of my entire life.
It was weirdly wonderful.
So much fun.
It was like Pleasantville. It's like a book festival, and you get there, they're like, "Do you want to ride a bicycle?"
Yeah, they're like,
I guess I do.
To get around, and then we all stayed in mansions on the water. It was so epically fun. But there was this moment. I lost my glasses. I did an event, and I lost my glasses. Like, we were walking into town to get lunch, and I was like, oh shit, you guys, I don't have my glasses. And Julia's like, let's go back and get them. But a new event had started in the tent where I lost my glasses.
It was like a very serious nonfiction about like biodiversity and plants and climate. It was like a very serious event. We're very serious.
Julia crawled through the entire tent on her hands and knees and was like, excuse me, I'm sorry. And I laughed so hard that I peed my pants. And she found my glasses.
It was actually incredible. It was like full grass. It was overgrown grass. It was amazing.
On her hands and knees. And meanwhile, I was like,
Analysts were probably talking about sea anemones and crablets, and probably fully David Attenborough up there. We didn't dignify it. She's the funniest person, and it makes everything funny, including, crawling around and rolling on the floor. And like, how do you do this? How do you put this on the page? How does this happen? Sometimes there are funny people who are not funny on the page. Like, you are very
there are
funny.
funny people on the page who aren't that funny in real life, and
Yeah.
every now and then someone will be like, well, you're not as funny as
No.
Yeah, I'm like, sorry.
Oh, that's funny.
Oh, that's so embarrassing.
That's like someone being like, you look better on the screen than, you seem so much taller on television.
And also just the pressure to be funny is,
Yes.
you know what I'm saying?
I mean, I can imagine, I
Um,
can imagine.
that said, I'm such a whore for comedy that I could never really stop.
You just love a joke,
I just love a bit. I like a long bit. Like, I like all of it. That was the other thing about GMA. I was like, I have to not be like a card. Like, that's not why they've brought me here. It's just like,
You have like a tight 22 seconds to make it.
I was like, do I have time to tell them about the grab? And I'm like, I don't have time for that. I'm not going to get into it. Can you imagine like where I get really far into it and they're like, thanks so much, Catherine. We have to do a commercial.
Do you feel like it came from your nonfiction writing, the humor, or like it just comes from life, or?
I mean, it is funny, right? You're a person. Come on, don't you just feel like your whole life is just one absurdity after another? I'm having this moment where we're not going to talk about the unspeakable things, but like, for example, this is just an example of the kind of thing, right, where your life every minute is just the potential for comedy. Our library system, if you're putting a hold on a book and then you're renewing your books online, a warning screen pops up and it says, literally it says, warning in red, you are about to renew all of the books you have. I'm just like, yeah, okay. Like, if I'm finished early, I'll return it. Why the drama? It's so weird. Like, I need that to come up on so many things that, like, not then. But I feel like it's just so funny. And also my dad, I mean, God love him. Like, he's driving everyone so crazy right now, but he is just like a really funny person, and I feel when we're around him where I'm like, oh, this is like the funny person, and then the kids are so funny, and they have such a like weird, warped, dry sense of humor. Like, I wrote this I did an interview with Oldsters, you know, and I wrote about this, but Birdie once made a video. I was a little bit stoned, like pretty stoned, and I was lying in bed trying to go to sleep, and I was laughing, and she made a 5-minute long video that's just my back shaking. And I never say anything or make any real sound. Like, this is what I come from. This is like the root of my humor.
I love that so much, and I love, like, I feel like you can appreciate the humor of that, and when I hear that, I'm just like, that's gonna be beautiful to watch after you're gone. And I was like, what? You know, you appreciate things that are funny for being funny, and you don't take them to that place.
Oh my God, you guys playing at the memorial.
How beautiful.
When people are coming in.
And it captures so much. Well, okay, we have time for a single more question, and it's about God, which is like about the way you write about love. You're in the book, you have 3 generations living in the same house. It's so beautiful. The parent-child bonds in each generation are so particularly beautiful to me. Obviously, that's where my head is at, but like, it's so moving. How do you write that? How do you do it? I feel like that is to me like the shining heart of the books is this, I don't know, I read a review this morning of your book where someone talked about like a smitten mother. And Rocky's a very smitten mother, which I think is like, to me, also the experience of parenthood very, very much.
It's just a love story.
Yeah, and like a very intense crush. And you read, in the excerpts you read, you wrote about it, and I wonder, can you tell us a little bit about writing love, like how it feels? Okay.
I mean, I think, you know, it's funny because I'm gonna try not to make myself cry, but I think
Birdie, take a video.
I think I think one of the reasons I write is to just try to like wrestle with that experience and maybe to be less smothering because I have like another outlet for it where I'm like, oh, instead of calling them, maybe try to write a joke. And so I think it's like a way of managing. You know, I did have that experience, and like I fell in love with Michael, my husband, and it was amazing. And I like immediately, the first 2 months we were together, I had this crazy dream that he was just gonna die, and I woke up and cried for like a week, and it was very intense. So I thought I knew something about love. Oh no, I did not. Then the kids were born, and I was just like, like terrified every minute, and just so overwhelmed with love. Just that. So anyway, it's like an affliction, you know?
Yeah. I'm glad that you have this outlet for yourself and for us too. I'm glad I get to read it.
Thank you.
I'm gonna hand you
You're the
this mic
best.
so everyone can ask wonderful questions and reveal the secrets to your path.
All right, give me some hands and I'll get you the microphone. I see attention one back here.
This is such an embarrassing first question, but I must know. I love you both so much. I could stay here all night. I know all of us could, but Catherine, who makes the boots? We gotta know. We supposed to link.
Sorrel.
Sorrel. Okay.
Sorrel.
Thank you so much. I hope somebody has better questions.
That was a perfect one.
And now that we've got the boots covered, I've got a hand over here.
Can I stand up just so like I'm not just a voice?
Yes. Hi. Hi.
Catherine, obviously your fiction is so close to your real life. But how do you feel differently when you're writing fiction than when you're writing an essay that's completely about your own life? And how do you get in different headspaces for that?
Yeah, definitely. And fiction, I do remind myself all the time, like, oh, you could solve this problem by making something up. Hello, fiction. I know what this is. It's fiction. So that's amazing. And because I wrote memoir first, I can never believe that you just get to just like get yourself out of trouble by like making something up. It's so handy, right? What was the question? Different headspaces. Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think with fiction, like I was realizing that that Rocky, the relationship Rocky has with her dad is actually crankier in fiction than it is in real life. I think in the way of just like, I don't know what, characterizing them more clearly, or like it's just all a little, I suppose, dramatized. I mean, not to say there's like a lot of drama in the book, but there's something about it that feels fictional, like where I just allow myself to make it not be true to life.
Okay, I'm over here now, and I see a hand over there.
Would you be willing to share either what you're currently reading or the last thing you read and loved?
Yes, thank you. Well, I have two things. One is I just was interviewed by Jenna Blum, and she's a novelist who just wrote this book, but it's not out yet, but it's called Murder Your Darlings, and it's very writery, like it's a satire about book tours, and everything about it made me laugh. Like I just loved it so much. So I just finished that, and Naeem, I am gonna plug your book, but you have to remind me what it's called because you know about my brain.
Take what you can.
So Naima Coster, who is a best-selling author, has a new book coming out called Take What You Can, and I got to blurb it, and it's about two best friends who are pregnant at the same time, And it is the most incredible book about like class and friendship and motherhood, and I freaking loved it, and it was just like an honor to blurb it. So I'm just plugging that because oh my God, you'll read it and be like, I heard about this way back when. And I read that book. Has anyone read The 10-Year Affair by Erin Summers?
I'm dying to
It's
though.
so good. It's so good. It's so funny. It's like incredibly dry and funny. Has nobody read it? Okay, all right, okay. You didn't like it though?
I liked it.
I love New York, man. This is my hometown. That's what I like. I liked it. How's the mortadella done? Anything else?
We've got time for some more questions, a couple more.
Aha. You're gonna come around.
This is like my beloved editor of the etiquette column I wrote for Real Simple magazine. And the best job. It was like the most fun thing in the world to write for you, so, okay.
Well, you're the best to work with, obviously, like pleasure of my career. It's actually about that. I think about that etiquette column and those questions that we got all the time. And it was such a peek into like the human condition and what drives people crazy and our cultural and background differences on things. I'm just curious if like that experience comes to you in writing fiction and creating characters.
All the time, truly. I mean, yes. So the way I wrote that column, I'll tell you. So Michael and Ben and Bertie, this is my family here. Anna would send me the questions. So I wrote this column for 10 years. And we would get the questions. I would make everybody sit down with me, and we would go one question at a time, and the kids and Michael would weigh in. Michael is a professional ethicist. He has a PhD. The kids were just inherently moral because they were children. And I would write down every single thing they said, and then I would just cobble these answers together from the responses of like an 8 and 11-year-old and a professional philosopher. And it was epically good. And I'm so wedded to this way of doing it that literally Ben went to college and I was like, when can you Zoom about the Real Simple question? I'm not kidding, every month, like never didn't do it that way. But really after a while, the questions distilled further and further. Sometimes I think that's why I got fired, where I was like, guess what? People are different from you. It's very, very difficult. And they were like, yeah, you probably had enough. That was different from you, even people you love, but sometimes people on the airplane, or your neighbor with their motherfucking wind chimes. And how do you deal with it? Like, what do you do about it? And the questions were that over and over again. My mother-in-law farts at the ballet. And you're like, give her a little bit of grace. Give her a little grace. It's okay, you know, like you don't need to do anything about it. A lot of people needed to be told, like, that's okay, you know. My stepdaughter came to the dinner table in a bikini. Oh well. Anyway, as the years went on, we ran out of steam, I think. I think it was a lot of like, am I the asshole? And a lot it was like, you are. But it's so relatable, like so with you. It's so hard to deal with people being different from you in all of these annoying ways, like really with you.
We have time for one more question. All right, I saw a hand here.
I've wondered this since reading Sandwich. What's your perfect sandwich?
Oh my God. I mean, I don't think this should count, so this isn't my final answer. Like, there's in Kennebunkport, Maine, if you've ever been to the Clam Shack, there's a lobster roll there. It's a griddled brioche bun with lobster and melted butter and maybe mayonnaise, depending on how you feel about both, or if you have to pick. And I'm bisexual, so I get both. And I wear a button that says both that I got from them, and I think that's so fun. But I would like to know if most people who identify as bisexuals get like both butter and mayonnaise. So, but that's a once a year sandwich, so that I don't think is a real choice. If I'm making a sandwich, it's tuna with like pepperoncini peppers in it and celery and a lot of dill and mayo. Really delicious. And if I'm at a regular, is this more than you wanted? Unbutton your coat. I have some more thoughts about this. If I'm at a place that's like a sandwichy place and there's something that has fried chicken in it, I'm gonna get that. And it doesn't really matter that much about what else it has on it. Like, it could be like kind of high-endy or kind of low-endy, but I'm always gonna get that. Or like a grilled cheese if we're at a diner. Come on, I'm not a monster. Is that what we're ending on? That's so good.
That's a perfect
All right.
ending.
Thank you so much.
Everyone, keep it going. Coach Catherine and Julia. It hurts me to have to end this because this is so fantastic. So thank you all so much for joining us, and thank you, Catherine and Julia, for sharing a fantastic, hilarious, incredible conversation. For those of you with us tonight, if you haven't found a copy of Rec yet, we've got plenty of additional copies available for purchase at the table where you checked in, along with signed copies of Sandwich and We All Want Impossible Things. And I have to shout out Julia's novels, Bear and Disappearing Earth. They're both fantastic. So if you haven't read those, you must.
By the way, when we met, I was really conspicuously reading there and trying to get Julia over it. Because it was so good, and I was already like, I'm in love with her. I'm like a little bit in love with her. And then I was like, oh, nothing, I'm just reading Bear.
So now you too can be the mysterious individual reading Bear and searching for outward validation. You got Catherine's seal of approval. Catherine will be around right over here personalizing books. If you'd like your book personalized, you can line up down this aisle, and please make sure to grab all of your personal belongings with you. Have a great night. Thank you all again. Let's give these two one more round of applause.